The crystalline spires of Zephyria Prime trembled as Queen Valandra's rage echoed through the palace halls. Her daughters, her precious heirs to the ethereal throne, had vanished without a trace 3 rotations ago. The most advanced tracking systems in the galaxy had failed to locate Princesses Lirale and Nyxaria, and with each passing hour, the Queen's desperation grew. "Search every star system in the Outer Rim," she commanded her fleet admirals, her voice crackling with otherworldly power. "Tear apart every asteroid field, scan every habitable world. My daughters will be found." The search had taken them across 17 sectors through nebulae that could disintegrate lesser ships, past civilizations that cowered at the sight of the Zephyrian war fleet. Yet somehow, 2 of the most powerful beings in the known galaxy had simply disappeared. Meanwhile, on a small blue-green world called Earth, in a city called Lahore, Raza sat cross-legged on a worn piece of cardboard at the corner of Mall Road. The evening heat was oppressive and sweat beaded on his forehead as he watched the endless stream of traffic and pedestrians. Beside him, 2 young girls shared the meager shade of a roadside tree. To any passerby, they looked like street children, dirty, thin, with clothes that had seen better days. But Raza knew better. He had found them 3 weeks ago, huddled behind a dumpster, speaking in musical tones that hurt his ears until they learned Urdu and English with impossible speed. "Pai Raza," said the younger one, who had chosen the name Fiza for herself. Her eyes held depths that seemed to contain entire galaxies. "The dreams are getting stronger. She's getting closer." Her older sister, who called herself Mira, nodded gravely. Despite appearing no older than 12, she carried herself with an otherworldly dignity that made grown men stop and stare. "Mother is tearing the galaxy apart looking for us." Raza reached into his pocket and pulled out his last 20 rupee note, using it to buy them samosas from a nearby vendor. "Then why don't you go back to her?" he asked quietly, as he had many times before. "Because," Fiza said, accepting the food gratefully, "we've learned something here that we never could have learned in a palace." It had started with small things. The way Raza shared his food even when he was hungry. How he used his body to shield them from the rain during the monsoons. The way he taught them to read Urdu letters in the dirt, never asking for anything in return. They had told him parts of the truth, that they were from far away, that their family was powerful, that they were hiding. What they hadn't told him was that they were royalty of an empire spanning 1,000 worlds, or that they possessed the power to level city blocks with a thought. "Your mother?" Raza said thoughtfully. "She must be worried sick." "Our mother," Mira corrected, "has never known worry, only rage when things don't go according to her will." The next morning brought an unusual sight to the skies above Lahore. Those who noticed might have dismissed it as a strange cloud formation, but Raza felt the girls tense beside him. The air itself seemed to hum with an energy that made his teeth ache. Queen Valandra's flagship descended through Earth's atmosphere, like a falling star, its bioorganic hull shifting and flowing as it adapted to the new environment. Sensor sweeps had finally detected the unique quantum signatures of her daughters, traced to this insignificant world in an unremarkable star system. The ship landed in the middle of Mall Road with impossible silence, traffic simply flowing around it as if it had always been there. The Queen emerged in a cascade of light and fury, her form terrible and beautiful, part energy, part living crystal, part something beyond human comprehension. "My daughters," she called, her voice resonating in frequencies that shattered nearby windows. "Come home." Pedestrians stopped and stared, some pulling out phones to record what they assumed was an elaborate film production. But Raza felt the raw power radiating from the being before them, and knew this was utterly real. Fiza and Mira stood slowly, their human disguises beginning to slip. Light began to emanate from their skin, and their eyes blazed with cosmic fire. For a moment, Raza saw them as they truly were, beings of pure energy and infinite potential. "Mother," Mira said formally, "we are not ready to return." The Queen's form pulsed with indignation. "Not ready? You are princesses of Zephyria. Your subjects need you. Your empire needs you. And what about him? Fiza gestured toward Raza, who was trying very hard to appear invisible. What about the billions of humans on this world who need each other? Queen Valandra's attention turned to the young man for the first time. She examined him with senses that could peer into his soul, expecting to find ambition, greed, or some scheme to exploit her daughter's power. Instead, she found something she had never encountered in her millennia of existence: pure, selfless compassion. This human had sacrificed for her daughters without knowing who they were, had protected them without hope of reward, had shared his poverty as if it were wealth. You taught them this? The queen asked, her voice softer now. Raza found his courage. They taught me, Your Majesty. They showed me that family isn't about blood or power, it's about choosing to care for each other. For the first time in her reign, Queen Valandra felt something she had thought was weakness: doubt. Her empire was built on power, on the natural order of strong ruling weak. But here was a human with no power at all, who had somehow given her daughters something her vast empire couldn't, a lesson in what it truly meant to serve others. I offer you wealth beyond imagination, she said finally. Planets, technologies, anything you desire. Raza looked at Fiza and Mira, seeing both the cosmic beings they were and the children who had become his family. I don't want your wealth, he said quietly. I just want them to be happy. The queen stared at him for a long moment, then began to laugh, a sound like solar wind through crystal mountains. Perhaps, she said, it is time for the Zephyrian Empire to learn some new lessons. Daughters, you may finish your education here. But, her form began to shift and compact, I believe I'll stay and learn as well. And so it was that the most powerful being in 7 sectors found herself sitting on a street corner in Lahore, sharing samosas with a human who had unknowingly taught her daughters the most important lesson in the universe: that true strength comes not from the power to take, but from the choice to give.